welcome to Investors Guide. I'm glad you joined us this week. We have a wonderful show lined up for you today. Lots of advice that you can take down and use to plan your portfolios and plan your investments better. Remember, there's an email ID at the bottom of your screen where you can write to us with questions about your money, whether it's spending, saving or investing. It'll be our pleasure to answer your questions on the show. Let's get straight to it. This is what we're doing over the next half hour. We'll help a young family plan their daughter's education and her wedding. On the big fund this week, we're going to review the ICICI Prudential Dynamics Fund, and the long-awaited health insurance portability finally kicks off on the 1st of October. Find out what it means for you. All of that coming up later on the show, but first let me bring in Dhirendra Kumar, our in-house mutual fund expert, the CEO of Value Research, who joins us on this show every week. Dhirendra, thank you so much for joining us on Investors Guide. Let's get straight to our portfolio versus portfolio question. For 33-year-old Anshul has written in, he started investing 1,000 rupees in 5 funds 6 months ago. He has a time horizon of 3 to 5 years. Now he wants to increase his investment by another 5,000 rupees. He wants to know if he should change his current portfolio. His investments are in HDFC Top 200, ICICI Prudential Dynamic, Birla Sun Life Frontline Equity, Reliance Regular Savings Equity and HDFC Prudence. Now Anshul tells us he has an 18-month-old daughter and he wants to plan for her education and her wedding as well. He wants to invest 1,000 rupees for the next 10 years in a good child plan, and he wants us to find a good child plan for him. So let's start at the top first of all. A time horizon of only 3 to 5 years, is that going to be enough for someone who's just 33?
No, in fact, he has chosen excellent fund, but I don't think 5 years is good enough. Enough time for him to, because for him to accumulate and be sure of, his goal being achieved. Because, in 5 years' time, he will be accumulating and accumulating gradually, and his money which will be invested will be for a very brief period, a substantial chunk. And within the 5 years, I would assume that, he should have enough time to, even the withdrawal will take about a year and a half, if you're accumulating in equity for the long term. So I don't think 5 years is good enough if you're into all equity fund, even though he has chosen good fund. I would suggest that, choosing balanced fund, even a 70% into equity, 30% into balanced fund will still be aggressive, but it still be, will be much better off. It will be a more moderate way of targeting his, this time frame with his equity investment. It will be a more steadier approach. So I would suggest that he should stop all these investments, just hold his HDFC Prudence, add 2 more balanced funds, and that's about it. He should just go for a growth and a stable growth portfolio.
Well, Anshul is also telling us he has a young daughter who's only 18 months old and he wants to start investing for her education and her wedding. And he tells us he's going to put aside 1,000 rupees every year for the next 10 years and he wants to pick a child plan. I'm going to start at the top here. An investment, first of all, for only 3 to 5 years, that's his time horizon. For someone who's 33, do you think that's enough?
I would say that, he does, first and foremost, any long-term investment should be chosen based on the merit, whether it is called a child plan or not. It only requires, making a choice, being disciplined about it, keeping reviewing it periodically, not necessarily even every year, but, every 1 or 2 years if he is able to take a look at that and investing regularly. I think his discipline matters most. And any investment could be a child plan. If you are extremely conservative, a bank recurring deposit of 1,000 rupees could be a child plan. 1,000 rupees for, investing every month and even for 15 years earning 12% will accumulate to about 5 lakh rupees. That's about it. So I would say that, and at that point, 15 years from now, 5 lakh may not be enough money for a meaningful goal to be achieved. So I would say get aggressive about your savings and choose a good equity fund. This is the part of money which you are unlikely to need for 10-15 years.
You did mention that he should be using a multi-cap fund. Could you give him a couple of names that he can choose from today?
I'll say, a UTI equity or HDFC equity, DSP BlackRock equity. They are not necessarily multi-cap, but, large and mid-cap fund and multi-cap fund. A fund which can participate or can move the money in any part which looks more timely.
All right, Anshul, this is the advice. Remember, if you're only using your first set of investments for 5 years, then use a balanced fund, HDFC Prudence, that you already have in your portfolio. Now, for your daughter, invest for 10 or 20 years, like Dhirendra said, use an equity multi-cap fund. He's given you names that you can choose from. And of course, you didn't tell us about your life insurance and health insurance right now, but if you have a young daughter and a young family, remember you need to have enough life insurance and health insurance to make sure you covered all of the possible risks. Good luck. Write back to us if you need help with anything else. Let's move on now to hold or stop. Rajiv has written in, Virendra. He tells us he's been investing 1,000 rupees in these funds every month since 2006. Now, he wants to reduce the number of funds in his portfolio to just 4 funds, and he has about 8 funds in his portfolio right now. And he has a target of 50 lakh rupees in the next 15 years with a total investment of 10,000 rupees every month. So he's written in, and he wants help with what he should be holding on and what he should be selling. Now, he starts off with 4 different tax saver funds. The first on his list is the Birla Sun Life Tax Relief. Continue investing in this one, Dhiren?
Yeah, this has been a good fund even now, and he can well continue till this ATC benefit is available.
Canara Robeco Tax Saver is the next on his list. He's in the dividend option of this fund. Continue investing?
This as well, I think this has been an outstanding fund in recent times, and good till it lasts. An excellent fund, should continue investing.
The SBI Magnum Tax Gain Fund, next on his list. Continue investing in this one as well. It hasn't been doing as well as the others of late, has it?
Of late, it has not done well. 3 years, it has been a struggle for this fund, and I think, things seems to be changing a little bit for this fund, though not dramatically. I would say he can well discontinue his fund, continue his investment elsewhere in other tax saving funds, and maybe be watchful about it. It might get promising.
The HDFC Tax Saver is the next on his list. This is a strong tax saver, then. Continue investing in this one?
Yes, this as well is an outstanding tax saving fund with a long history. Yes, he should.
Right, the next on his list is the Canara Robeco Monthly Income Plan. For someone with such an aggressive target of 50 lakhs in 15 years, should he be investing in a monthly income plan at this point?
No, I don't know why it should be there in the first place, and I think he can do without this fund.
There's the DFC BlackRock Balanced Fund and HDFC Prudence. So HDFC is a very strong balanced fund. It has given returns that are almost comparable to an equity fund. But would you recommend he has balanced funds in his portfolio at this point?
No, it doesn't make sense. Given his time frame, though, HDFC Prudence looks better than most equity fund in a bear market, and but given his time frame and given that we will see at least 2 or 3 market cycles in the next 15 years, I think it will be a missed opportunity if he is into balanced funds. So I would say he should just choose 3-4 strong equity funds, continue investing, and consider getting conservative after 10-12 years.
All right, and the last fund on his list is the HDFC Top 200 Fund. This one obviously is a stronger one. Should he continue?
Yes, this is something, the kind of fund which I'm referring to, this can well remain a part of that. It should be a must, it should be a good hold and continue investing.
Alright, Rajiv, 4 funds are left from your portfolio that you should continue investing in. We have one more question. This is from Nitin, who writes in, and this answer will also be applicable to Rajiv. Alright, our last question comes in from Nitin Gomes. He's just started investing in mutual funds, and he tells us he doesn't know the difference between the growth option and the dividend payout option, and he wants to know which of the 2 options will give him better returns. And this is also applicable to Rajiv, who's put a lot of his funds in the dividend payout option. So would you recommend the dividend payout option at this point?
No, not at all. In fact, it will be disadvantageous in some time. When DTC comes into play, becomes effective, then I think the dividend plan will be disadvantageous, because the DTC provides for a 5% dividend distribution tax even on dividend paid from equity fund. So from that standpoint, I think it will be disadvantageous. He should start preparing for it. And primarily from his goal point of view, I think, if his goal is accumulation, then why he should look at periodic income from equity? Equity is not supposed to generate periodic income. It should accumulate, and it should accumulate handsomely, and that should be his goal.
Alright, Nitin, so remember the difference between a dividend option and the growth option. Dividend will basically pay out all of the earnings from that fund every year. The growth option will reinvest it, and your money will compound. So if you're looking at accumulating money over a long period of time, then you should pick the growth option. Alright, we're going to slip into a quick break. On the other side, we're going to talk about the ICICI Prudential Dynamic Fund, and we'll also tell you how you can benefit from health insurance portability. That's on the other side of the break. So